I think what's happened in the past year and what has sort of led up to the EP is a transition from what I was doing before, which was just make anything. If it sounds cool, just sort of run with it. But what I've really tried to do recently is focus in on a more specific aesthetic. I keep finding my artists on Instagram because it's just the best way. Like, you look at someone you like and you look at who they follow, and you just sort of, I've been collecting a bunch of artists that I really like what they're doing, and then I sort of give them direction based on the aesthetic that I'm going for. So the guy that did the album art, his name is Kenji, and he lives in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. And then the guy who did the animations, he followed me on Instagram, and his little avatar was like a cartoon, so I looked at it and I looked at his stuff, and he had some cool animation stuff. So I hit him up like, hey, I'm looking for someone to do live visuals, and I had been for like a month or two at that point. And he was like really into it. And I guess he lives in California, but him and his wife own a van named Morty. And they just drive around, they like live in the van and drive around the desert. So he's like in a van, like stopping at libraries to get Wi-Fi to like upload his animations to me. All of my previous stuff has been without vocals, unless it's sort of like a bootleg remix sort of thing. And it's been very hectic and colorful and melodic. So what I really wanted to do is keep the colorful aesthetic, but sort of pare it down a lot. Like, a lot of the times in the old stuff, I'll have a lot of melodies, like it's almost hyper melodic, and they're all moving all the time. And it's a lot, like it's headphone music. But the new stuff, like I wanted the vocals to be the center of it. I wanted every track to be at a wildly different BPM. And just a lot of diversity in the sounds. And I think, and people can be the judge of that, but I think I've achieved that, and I can't wait to put this stuff out. It's sort of the same approach that I took with finding artists on Instagram, but I found all the vocalists on SoundCloud. You can kind of tell like vocalist pictures from Trap Lord pictures. It's like a different thing. So I would go through and look for the vocalists and whoever had over 1,000 followers, and I would just sort of look through that. I found a list of about 100 singers. And I just sorted them according to tracks that I wanted them to be on and stuff, and I reached out to a few of them. I had sent out a bunch of demos to them, but the ones that got back to me all wrote to different demos, to the point where I just had like a finished EP when they all got back to me. So there's a little bit of back and forth, like, oh, I think I can make the track better here, or I think we need a second verse, or we need like, but yeah, it was pretty straightforward, really. And with Clear, if people who have heard the released version heard the original one that I sent to Mothica, it's shameful. It's so bad. It's like very minimalist. I leave a lot of space for the vocals so that when the vocals are in, I can produce around them without taking over. That is 100% where this ship is going. One of the things that I used to do is put myself like, I've got to release something every month. And I think that's what I was doing for a little while, and it was leading to music that I was releasing because I had imposed this arbitrary timeline on myself, music that I sometimes wasn't happy with. And so I've cut timelines out. I'm no longer giving anyone timelines. It'll happen really, really well in the time that it takes to happen that well.
You can try to smooth me down, but I'm not ready to forget. You can try to smooth me down.
We looked at Toronto's kind of history and musical heritage and just thought, hey, maybe we'll work in Toronto, in Canada.
Words fall out of my mouth, they drift to the ground and they don't make a sound.
It doesn't matter what you play on, as long as like you have good taste, you know how to mix, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you're just like not faking the funk.